My name is Shantee McPhee. I'm a senior consultant with Ambit Energy. And just to tell you a little bit about how I started, which was very interesting, actually about 14 months ago, to be exact, a friend of mine that I hadn't spoken to in about 3 or 4 years called me and told me she started her own business. Now, I hadn't spoken to this individual in about 3 or 4 years, to be exact. Okay, we grew up together. We were known each other since the age of 5. But what was interesting was when she told me she started her own business, I was very apprehensive. And let me just tell you why, because so many people had tried to get me to do all these different businesses. And I didn't feel any of them were worth my time except one other business that I did years ago. But because of that one business, it left a very salty taste in my mouth. So I'm a very direct person. So I just said, okay, Cornina, what is it? And she told me what it was, and I asked her what did she want me to do. She told me she wanted me to take a look at her website. And so my thought was, I'm going to take a look at her website, look at it, and tell her no. And then she could leave me alone. We could have a very good conversation. But that's not what happened. I actually looked at the website, and I got very intrigued by what I saw. And when I saw it, I was just like, okay, this is a little bit too good to be true. So right away, I actually picked up the phone and I called her and I said, when is your next business presentation? I wanted to see who else was involved in this business, and I wanted to know some other questions that I had. And so she told me when it was, and I decided to go to this business presentation. But before I did that, the second person I called was my sister Donna. And the reason why I called my sister Donna is because she was qualified to give me an opinion. And so what I mean by that is my sister Donna, she's owned a traditional business, has been very successful. She's been involved in several different businesses, but has been very successful. So I figured she was, qualified to give me an opinion.
Now, when my wife got this invitation to go see this business presentation, I was totally opposed to it. Actually, it was on a Friday night. I never forget it. It was on a Friday night. My wife went to Arundel Mills, and me and the kids went shopping. We went to the mall. And the reason why was because I was not interested. And the reason why is because my wife had tried lotions and potions, and her sister, by the way, is a serial what's the word? A serial entrepreneur. She just business from A to Z. So she's tried them all, and my wife was kind of right along there with her, even though she says she's only done one business.
Long story short, she told me to get the information and get it back to her, and I told her that I would. Meanwhile, I asked my husband to come along with me. My husband declined. He said he didn't want to come with me because we had already invested over $60,000 into an assisted living facility back in 2007, and we had not even gotten back 50% of it. So he was not open for any bright ideas.
The reason I didn't want to get involved with it was because I was scarred from the last ventures.
So him and the boys went to Arundel Mills Mall, and I went to this business presentation. And just like you guys are going to see today, I got my questions answered. I was very impressed by what I saw there. I just saw regular people like you and I, nurses, doctors, a lawyer, school bus driver, just regular people for all walks of life. Got my questions answered, and I was very excited about this business. So my husband picked me back up, and when he picked me up, the first thing he wanted to know is, what is it? And I'm telling you all, learn from my experience, do not try to regurgitate this information back to people. It's just too much information. But I didn't listen. I actually decided to regurgitate this information. Of course, it came back all wrong. So right away, my husband shut me down. He's like, nope, we're not doing anything.
When she mentioned this to me, I told my wife I was going to put a password on our BG&E account.
And so when he made that statement, I was just like, okay, great, no problem. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking, how can I get around that?
But I call it divine intervention because I travel for my job. I've been on my job 23 years. I do integration for a company known as Lucent Technology. So I travel a lot. My wife saw this presentation on a Friday night. On that Monday, I was scheduled to go to Fresno, California.
He's hardly ever home. So it's not uncommon for him to be gone 2-3 months at a time, okay? And so when he's gone, I'm not happy because that makes me a single mom of 3. I teach Zumba, I have a dog, I'm involved in ministries inside and out my church and a sorority, and was working a full-time job. So imagine how much time I had, okay? So my husband had to leave to go to Fresno, California on that Monday because our business presentation was on that Friday. My sister actually called me back up, and by that time I had given her the information to look at the website. And when she called me back, she said, you know what? I didn't finish looking at the website. And I'm like, why? What's wrong? And she's like, you know what? I didn't need to look at it anymore. She said, I saw what I needed to see. When are you starting your business? And I said, okay. this sounds good. So I had another friend to actually come over and watch the website with me, and she pretty much said the same exact thing, that, you know, she wanted to know when I would start this business. So that Monday, I was driving my husband to the airport. It was about 5:30 in the morning, and I was very excited. Okay, usually I am very sad, but this time I was very excited. I actually got him there probably in a 15-20 minutes, where it would normally take about 40 minutes, okay? And when he stepped off that curb, I probably could have broke his ankle, okay? And I was just like, bye, honey, see you. Call me when you get to Fresno, California, because I had a plan, okay? And I got back in the car almost immediately. I never even left the car, to be truthful. I never even left the car. But I called my sponsor, and I said, what do I need to do to get started? She told me what I needed to do to get started. I called my sister, let her know what I was going to do, and I called my other business partner, Sonora, and told them when I was getting started. So I signed up that morning, which was Thursday morning, about 8:30 in the morning. Sonora and Donna signed up about 11 o'clock that evening, which was Thursday evening, April the 7th, 2011. 2.5 weeks later, I qualified for free energy, and I also promoted to regional consultant. My husband came home 6 weeks later, and by this time I had doubled my initial investment. So the first thing my husband wanted to ask me, because I had set it up really nice for us.
My wife had these orange envelopes laid out on the table. So I asked her, well, what are those envelopes? She said,
I said, oh, that's the business I started. You told me not to start. And so, you know, that kind of impressed him for a minute. He's like, really? I said, yes. And I said, oh, by the way, we qualify for free energy, something you said we could not get.
Well, nobody gets free electricity, right? Not that I ever heard of, so I didn't believe that was ever possible. So I thought maybe I need to really sit down and take a look at this business opportunity.
And I was smiling just like this. And so imagine the look on his face. He said, you know what, let me take a look at this business, because he would not even take a look at the business. So that's why I really appreciate you all for just taking a look at the business, because you never know what you're missing if you don't take a look.
The fact that I could go to family and friends and offer them something of value, I got real excited and decided to jump in with my wife in this business venture. 30 days later, and in about 13 weeks, we promoted to senior consultant.
And during that time also, we were noted for being a top 25 consultants out of 130,000. We made the A list. At that time, we didn't even know what it was, which is very exciting with this business. You just work your business and things happen. And so when you get surprised, you're like excited because you're just working your business. But the major milestone that took place in my life last year, to be exact, was on October the 14th. That's the day I started having major eye problems. And that major eye problem caused me to leave my job, okay? And I quit my job because I couldn't see myself working for my boss anymore, okay? And that was on October the 14th. So I stand here before you today. I no longer work as a registered nurse. I'm just working my Ambit business part-time. So thank you all for coming, and I'm going to get you all started with our business presentation.